Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beauty Beyond the Ashes podcast, where we talk all things forgiveness, restoration, freedom, healing, and wholeness so that we can walk into God's purpose and calling for our lives with courage and boldness. I am your host, Tanya P. Jones. Thank you all for joining me here today for another episode talking about the goodness of God. Listen. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead on and put my ask out there. If you are watching on YouTube, I would ask that you would hit that subscribe button and leave a comment or share it. And if you're listening on one of your favorite listening platforms, I'm asking that you would follow. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review. That's how this podcast can get out to more people. And not just for the sake of getting out there, but for the sake of reaching someone that we could help someone heal from the pain of their past, to be released from the shackles of shame. That is what God is in the business of doing. And I am just allowing myself to be a vessel by using my story, by using my journey to assist and help anyone along the way. So help me out with that. And I will say thank you in advance. Well, it is time for us to get moving on today's episode. And I have been thinking about this, and it's something that God is doing with me. So I'm kind of talking it out as I'm walking it out, really. But I want to say this quote that comes from Tony Evans in his Bible. It's the Tony Evans Study Bible. And he says this: as long as you are too attached to your past, you negate what God wants to do in your future. Learn from yesterday. Don't live in it. It's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And it reminds me of what God told me when I began my healing journey. And it is my mantra. It's what I use here as we close out the podcast. And that is, don't be so uncomfortable with the darkness of your past that you're too fearful to walk into the light of your future. And that's exactly what Tony Evans is saying here. As long as you are too attached to your past, you negate what God wants to do in your future. And oftentimes we stay stuck in our past because we have not allowed the forgiveness of God to cleanse that part of our heart and remove whatever it is, the shame, the regret, the guilt that resides in our heart, and that keeps us stuck in a place. And God recently gave me Isaiah 43:18 and 19, and I just bask in it because I'm so living it as a result of what he's doing. And Isaiah 43:18 and 19 reads, "But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I'm going to do. For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in dry wasteland." Woo! Oh, that feeds me. That feeds me. And I hope that it does for you too. If you stop and you look at your life, you will see that God has always made a pathway through the wilderness. Listen, God has not forgotten about you. God, if you've asked for forgiveness for whatever it is that may be, have you bound to your past, uh, whatever it is, if you've asked for forgiveness for that thing, it's already been done and God forgot about it. You are the one who's still remembering it. You are the one who's allowing yourself to be bound to that thing. And it's time to release it. It's time to heal from it. It's a process. It's a process because it's so ingrained in you that it has to be excavated from your heart. It has to be, you've allowed it to be in there and take root, and you have to pull up those roots. And sometimes it takes a while to do that. Sometimes You need a little guidance. Sometimes it hurts. Most of the time, it hurts. It's if you getting a root canal. I've never had a root canal, but if you're doing something in the roots and you don't have any pain medication, baby, that thing's gonna hurt you. That thing's gonna hurt you. But when it's all done, it's so much better. It is so much better. Listen, I want to say this. Even the good things of the past must be released to acquire the new things of the future. Let me say that again. Even the good things of the past must be released to acquire the new things of the future. So if you're sitting here and you're still thinking about the good things, the good things, the good things, and you're moving farther and farther from that good thing, and you're still kind of stuck back, like still turning around to look behind you, how can you move forward? How it's at minimum going to slow you down, and at max it will stop you. So even the good things, you're going to have to release that to move forward. You can't stay holding on to what's already happened, because it's going to shackle you to that thing too. And I want to use Isaiah 43:18 and 19, because in this, God tells the people of Israel, forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I'm going to do. And in light of the past, what happened in the Exodus, what happened already, the good things that God has delivered the people of Israel from, he still forget all that. Forget all that beautiful stuff that I did, the parting of the Red Sea. Look ahead. I have so much more for you. There's so much more coming for you. He says, I'm already doing it. Don't you see it? But sometimes we can't see it because we're so blinded by what has already happened. We're so busy continuing to use what's already happened as our means of celebration and joy, that God can't even move us forward to the next level, to the next thing, to the next whatever it is he's going to do. He says it in his word, for I am about to do a new thing. I have already begun. Do you not see it? Stop looking back. You can't see it if you're looking back. Look forward. Look forward to that new thing. And in doing that, I want to read something that is in T.D. Jakes' Woman Thou Art Loose Bible. Each experience has its own value if you do not close your eyes to where you are, trying foolishly to be where you have already been. Ooh, my. That is so good. You know, sometimes when something good happens to us, or we are remembering things of our past that bring us joy and give us contentment, and instead of using that to say, if God could do that, he can do something new, we stay stuck thinking, oh man, if I could only go back there. Oh man, if I can only be that way again. You know, and I was working with a client, and I think she made a statement somewhere along the lines of, um, I wish I could be like I was in my younger days. I was so fearless, right? And I had to remind her, I said, I want you to think back to some of those fearless moments. Did you ever make decisions in your fearlessness that you wish you hadn't? Did you ever put yourself in a situation where your wisdom of today would tell you to do something different? Because we want to be sometimes we want to be so much like we were in the past that we don't realize that some of the things we did in the past that turned out okay, in our wisdom today we would never have done. So we have to appreciate where we've come, from whence we've come and where we are, so that we can continue to grow into where God is taking us. So don't be so attached to the good things of the past that it too stops us from moving into the future. So as we move along in this journey, remember that God has something new for you. He's doing a new thing in you. He's always doing a new thing in you. God is a God of growth. God is a God of continuation. He Stagnancy is it's not a good place to be, because stagnancy brings about death. It brings about, if water is stagnant, it's not moving. It's not allowing for a refreshing. So you don't want to become stagnant. God is always ever growing us. So continue to grow. And in growth, healing happens. In growth, changes happen. So we have to embrace what God is doing in our lives, even if it moves us from a place of comfort, even if it moves us into a place where we have to walk through a little bit of pain, a little bit of suffering, a little bit of discomfort, just like being uncomfortable with where he's taking you. And usually that's because of fear. That's the fear of the unknown. But that's where the trust comes in. That's where we have to use our faith and trust God that He knows better. We may not can see where we're going, but if we're walking along His path, if we're walking along the and we're seeking Him, and we're walking along the path that He has for us, oh, He knows better than us. So I want to give one final quote from T.D. Jakes' Woman Thou Art Loose Bible. And this was so beautiful. I just loved it. And this is for, I want to say, for anything. This can be for healing. This can be for fear. This can be for anything that's holding you prisoner. Okay. It says, you have no right to hold anyone a prisoner in the jail cell of your fears. And you can put in the jail cell of your fears, in the jail cell of your shame, in the jail cell of your regret, in the jail cell of your unforgiveness. Okay. So you have no right to hold anyone a prisoner in the jail cell of your fears, not even yourself. Let yourself go. You have been imprisoned from what God wants to give you most, a new experience in Jesus Christ. Is that not beautiful? A new experience in Jesus Christ. That's what Isaiah says. He's doing a new thing. Do you not see it? It's already begun. It's already begun, my friend. So please, please, allow yourself to do whatever it is that God is calling you to do, whatever it is that He's asking you to do in your heart, whether it's a healing, whether it's a deliverance, whether it's forgiveness of other people, whatever it is that's holding you in the jail cell as a prisoner, it's time for you to be released from that. It is time for you to be released from that. And let me tell you, the release, ooh, the freedom that happens. No one knows how liberation feels until you've been liberated, until the freedom comes. Sometimes we're so attached, and we've been in prison for so long. When the prison doors open, we're almost afraid to step out. What's going to happen? Am I going to be able to survive on the other side of this? I've been over here so long. I know what happens over here. But what God has for you on the other side of those jail cell doors, the freedom, oh, then you have the freedom to be obedient to Him, fully obedient, fully surrendered to the will He has for your life. And I promise you, it's beautiful. That's what Jeremiah 29:11 says. He knows the plans He has for you, and it's good. It's beautiful. Embrace that. Embrace that. Well, it's time for me to move along, y'all. I'll be here same time, next week. Hope to see you then. But until then, remember this. Don't be so uncomfortable with the darkness of your past that you're too fearful to move into the light of your future. Y'all have a blessed day. I love you.